Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to thank you all for joining us. I'm delighted to be here to announce Cook County's COVID-19 Small Business Assistance Program, which will provide much-needed financial relief to businesses, coupled with a robust set of business advising and educational resources. I see many familiar faces here today and appreciate all of you coming out for this effort. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize the folks who are with us today. Commissioner Donna Miller of the 6th District, Commissioner Kevin Morrison, Representative William Davis. I'd like to thank our hosts from the Thornton Distillery, Andrew Howell and Jordan Tepper. Joanna Trotter from the Chicago Community Trust will be joining us shortly. Sharice Conanan Johnson from Next Street. Jaime DePaulo from the Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Emilia Domenco from the Women's Business Development Center. And Sochi Flores, our own Bureau Chief for the Department of Economic Development, the Bureau of Economic Development. We were here at Thornton Distillery at the end of last year, and I'm grateful again to Andrew Howell and his staff for welcoming us. We launched in November the Southland Development Authority, a new organization dedicated to supporting businesses and transformative growth in the Southland. I also understand that upon the onset of COVID, Thornton Distillery swiftly adjusted their day-to-day operations and produced and delivered hand sanitizer to hundreds of frontline workers and essential organizations. We want to thank you for your service to the community. The Small Business Assistance Program brings many of the region's leading business service organizations and philanthropies, including the Chicago Community Trust, the Chicago Urban League, the Women's Business Development Center, the Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and Next Street together. Additional key partners include Axion, Berwyn Development Corporation, Chicago Trend, the Cook County Black Chamber of Commerce, and the Southland Development Authority. The Bureau Chief of Economic Development, Sochi Flores, and her staff worked with each organization to develop the vision and launch this ambitious program. Cook County is pleased to provide the financial resources and is excited today that we're making it a reality. Small business owners are used to dealing with the unexpected, but few have ever been through a crisis like COVID-19 before. Small businesses need recovery and resilience support to weather the storm and to come out stronger on the other side of it. That's the objective of the program. You'll hear shortly from Thornton Distillery about how they're working to pivot and how important these resources are to small businesses. Since March, we've been providing updates regarding the county's COVID-19 response efforts. Our work is ongoing and critical to supporting businesses and communities in remaining resilient and recovering. Recovery will not happen overnight. Recovery will not happen overnight. Although businesses have begun to reopen their doors, most have had to adjust to decreased customers, new revenue models, physical distancing, changes in supply chains, and other constraints that make it a real challenge to stay afloat. Each week, announcements about small business closures and layoffs fill the news. Recognizing the multitude of challenges facing businesses, residents, and communities, Cook County has made $52 million available to local municipalities and an additional $82 million to support a robust set of initiatives to assist both businesses and residents during these challenging times. You'll be hearing more about these in the weeks to come. In June, Cook County's Bureau of Economic Development launched a $10 million small business loan program and received close to $40 million in applications. So we know the needs of businesses are tremendous. Today, I'm proud to announce the latest program in our Community Recovery Initiative, the Cook County COVID-19 Small Business Assistance Program. This program provides $12.6 million in grants to suburban small businesses. This program also provides $2.4 million to create a free business advising and education program for businesses across the city and suburbs of Cook County. Our funds, coupled with the Chicago Community Trust, the McCormick Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation, the Polk Brothers Foundation, and J.P. Morgan Chase, provide the foundation for an historic partnership between Cook County and the philanthropic community. This partnership forms the underpinning of a coordinated and integrated network of over 35 business service organizations across both the city and the suburbs to address the needs of small businesses impacted by the pandemic. Today, while you will hear from a few of our partners, it's essential that you know more than 35 community partners are working together to support and foster resiliency across Cook County. I'll now call upon Commissioner Morrison. This is Commissioner Miller's district. Why don't we have Commissioner Miller speak first? Come on, Commissioner Miller.
Thank you. I want to say hello to everyone and welcome to the 6th District. So I'm Cook County Commissioner Donna Miller. Thank you, Madam President, for the introduction. I'd like to thank Thornton Distillery Company for welcoming us here this morning. And thank you, President Preckwinkle, for your leadership during this pandemic and recognizing the need to assist our small businesses in suburban Cook County, here in the south suburbs and in the 6th District, which have been greatly affected by COVID-19. So Thornton Distilling Company has a special place in my heart because I was invited here with my staff when they first opened. And this is a place that really is the perfect example of someone having vision, passion, and a sense of history where they all meet to form a business to do something you love. So if you haven't been here before, I suggest you get a tour. It's really an amazing place. The Cook County COVID-19 Recovery Small Business Assistance Program is a continuation of the efforts by Cook County to assist our businesses in the community that started immediately after COVID, the emergency declaration and other several programs under the Cook County Recovery Initiative umbrella. As we know, many small businesses had said that they were not able to access the emergency small business and independent contractor financial support that was part of the federal stimulus plan. And for multiple reasons, they didn't have access to the resources to apply quickly, and the money was not there, as well as pre-existing relationships they didn't have with large banks who control the access to the program. And additionally, most of the businesses in suburban Cook are mom and pop businesses and business owners who might not have the credit that was required to access those federal funds. That was acutely impacting the viability of small businesses, especially in lower income and diverse communities. The county's new Small Business Grant Relief Fund is uniquely positioned to respond to these barriers. So I'd also like to thank the Southland Development Authority, which was launched right here back in November, and Madam President alluded to that earlier, but they've been providing great technical assistance to our businesses during these difficult times, and I think we're gonna hear from someone later about that. So again, thank you, Madam President, and Soshi and your whole team and the administration for being here today for this important initiative. The applications are going to be discussed a little bit later on how to find out if you're eligible and apply. And know that if you're in the 6th District, our office will be a resource for you, as well as the Bureau of Economic Development, and we'll have plenty of information about this initiative. So thank you so much, and look forward to hearing more about how it helps businesses like this one.
Thank you very much. This is Commissioner Miller's district, and we usually start with the person in the commissioner in whose district we're having our events. I want to welcome Commissioner Kevin Morrison, who came a very long way for this event, way up in the north part of Cook County, but whose bailiwick on the Board of Commissioners is small business. Commissioner?
Thank you so very much, Madam President. It is an honor to be here today. I want to give a special thanks to Thornton Distilling for allowing us to share this space this morning. This is one of the many businesses in Cook County who clearly exemplify ways that we could step up in times of need, and so we are incredibly grateful. I come from a small business family. My family has run a small business for over 50 years on the northwest side of the city, and my mom and my aunt still run that business today. I have seen firsthand the toll COVID-19 has taken on our small businesses, and have heard from countless small business owners from the 15th District and throughout Cook County that need help. Small businesses are the lifeblood of our economy and our communities. They hire local residents, they sponsor Little League teams, they host fundraisers for their neighbors in need. Now it is on us to step up for them, just like they have done countless times for our communities, time and time again. That's why I'm so grateful for President Preckwinkle's leadership, the Cook County Bureau of Economic Development, hard work in making Cook County's COVID-19 Small Business Assistance Program possible. President Preckwinkle and Bureau Chief Flores did not have to use CARES Act funding for this type of program or resources. They did this because they know how important our small businesses are and how detrimental this pandemic has been. These are vital resources for our small businesses at an extremely difficult time. These grants and technical assistances will provide a much-needed lifeline to small businesses in the 15th District and across Cook County. I'm so proud to be here today to support the launch of this incredibly important program and to continue our work in the days and months ahead to ensure we're doing everything we can to keep our business community thriving. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Commissioner Morrison. It's Dino's Family Restaurant, is that right? Yes, it is. Dino's Family Restaurant in Norwood. I've been there. Actually, the food's great. Thank you. All right. Next, I'd like to introduce Representative William Davis, and we're very grateful for his help and support in Springfield for not just the Southland, but for the entire county. Representative Davis.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Again, I am Will Davis. I'm Assistant Majority Leader in the House, and I represent the 30th District out here in the South Suburbs. So welcome back to the South Suburbs to launch such an important initiative. Again, I want to thank President Preckwinkle and the Cook County Board of Commissioners for all their leadership in trying to support small businesses. Small businesses are indeed a lifeline for our communities in terms of who they hire and who they support. It's great to be able to just go to the local establishment and just see people around, see people that you know, and to be able to interact with them. So we know that this is a different time that we're in right now. Whether or not this is the new normal, it remains to be seen. But while we're in this space, we know that unlike the good times that we remember, these are very difficult times. And businesses, in our efforts to support and to make sure that people are safe and healthy, businesses, particularly eating establishments and places like the Thornton Distillery, have suffered because people aren't able to come. They aren't able to come and spend their time here and spend their money here. And when they were allowed to open, they have limited capacity. So we know that businesses, particularly small businesses, are really suffering and getting the major brunt of everything that we're doing relative to the COVID environment that we're in. So again, whether or not this is the new normal remains to be seen, but any effort to try to stand up small businesses is extremely important. And that's why the effort of the Cook County Board and its commissioners today to announce these resources to try to help businesses go just a little bit further, small businesses go a little bit further, is just so very, very important. Because even when other areas haven't been able to work to provide all of the resources that they would like, Cook County has recognized that they need to support their businesses and their residents in this area. So we, again, appreciate everything that President Preckwinkle and the Board of Commissioners are doing. Thank you to Thornton Distillery for allowing us to share this space, to Andrew for all of their efforts, again, as they've transitioned. Instead of making the libation, they said, well, hand sanitizer, because it's something that people need and people could benefit from as well. So we appreciate how they've retooled and are able to still help the community, even in tough times. But these grants will go a long way to support businesses, go a long way to support small mom and pop businesses that are just struggling to survive right now. And again, anytime that we can do what we can to support small businesses is always important. It's always welcome, and truly it's always needed. So again, thank you, Madam President, and the Cook County Board of Commissioners for all you're doing to try to stand up businesses in our area, particularly out here in the Southland. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Davis, for joining us. Next, we'd like to hear from our host, Thornton Distillery's Andrew Howell. And we're grateful that Jordan Tepper is also with us.
Hello, everybody. I'd like to thank you for joining us this morning in the oldest standing brewery in Illinois, built in 1857. My name is Andrew Howell. I'm co-founder of Thornton Distilling Company. Welcome. I'd like to thank the Honorable Cook County President Toni Preckwinkle, Commissioner Donna Miller, and the esteemed panel of speakers and all of you for visiting us today in the South Suburbs. Your presence today and your support truly means the world to us as our small business attempts to navigate these uncharted waters during the COVID-19 pandemic the best we can. We started Thornton Distilling Company in 2014, and we just recently, in December of 2019, celebrated our grand opening on Repeal Day. After an extensive 4-year restoration project that still has a long way to go. I want to thank my business partner, Jake Weiss, for his unwavering support and for making all of this possible. Our distillery has come a long way, but our distillery has come a long way when we started restoring the historic walls here, and only recently in July did we finally start distribution into the greater Chicagoland area. Although none of us could have predicted the strange circumstances we'd encountered during our launch, we're making the best of the situation, and like so many other businesses, we're doing everything we can to help support our community here in Cook County and beyond. When the pandemic broke and the stay-at-home order was announced in March, we, like many businesses, were in a state of shock. We closed our distillery doors to the public, canceled booked weddings, and had to furlough our beloved staff, and then launched a GoFundMe campaign to help support them. During that initial confusion in March, we found support from fantastic organizations such as the Illinois Restaurant Association that helped us get our bearings and ensure we could keep our staff and community as safe and as healthy as possible. The IRA continues to offer that helping hand. At the end of March, we immediately pivoted all distillery operations to produce sanitizer, which we decided would best serve the community if it was made available for free. We donated sanitizer to frontline healthcare providers, first responders, and to date we've produced more than 5,000 gallons of sanitizer and donated it to everyone from the Army National Guard COVID-19 test sites to wonderful local nonprofits like Brave Space Alliance. We've felt blessed to be able to supply local hospitals, fire departments, police, and many nonprofits. We've also made it possible to offer free sanitizer to our peers in the hospitality industry, and we continue to offer free sanitizer to the general public. By helping our friends and neighbors in a time of crisis like this, it's allowed us to feel just a little bit better about everything that's happening in the world right now, or as good as you can feel during such a scary and devastating point in history. We sincerely thank you all today for the help and support you are by joining us, and companies like us in Cook County. We'd also like to thank Cook County for caring about small businesses like us and for developing programs to support us. And while our sanitizer program is still going strong, I'm pleased to say we just recently resumed making whiskey, and I can tell you our head distiller, Ari Clafter, is thrilled to be a head distiller again, and not just our chief chemist producing sanitizer. I'm pretty sure he burned the lab jacket I bought him when this thing started, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, so thank you all for joining us. Afterward, I'll be offering a tour of the facility. I'd like to show you around, and if you want to learn more about our colorful past or our future, feel free to let me know. I'll just be in the bar area. Thank you.
The work we're undertaking is a partnership with the philanthropic community, and we're very grateful that Joanna Trotter from the Chicago Community Trust, who's Director of Community Impact, is with us as well. Joanna?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. The Chicago Community Trust has been deeply engaged in our region's response to the impact of COVID-19, including co-developing the $35 million Chicago Community COVID-19 Relief Fund. We also have been deeply involved in efforts to create a more supportive small business network to better serve entrepreneurs of color, specifically in our region, and address the unique challenges that they often face in accessing credit, networks, expertise, and mentorship. As the trust aims to move the needle on closing the racial and ethnic wealth gap in the region, we recognize the importance of contributions of businesses, small businesses in particular, as cornerstones of an equitable and thriving regional economy and for the communities that they serve. Yet we know that a vast number of businesses woke up in March to an entirely different market reality. And access to many of the grants and loans was like a race to the top without adequate support to help businesses secure critical resources. Businesses need direct one-on-one technical assistance so that they can secure capital as well as plan for long-term sustainability post-pandemic. We are proud to partner with Cook County, thank you, Next Street, and the many business service organizations included in this effort on the Cook County COVID-19 Recovery Small Business Assistance Program. This robust effort greatly aligns with two of our core goals, which are to sustain businesses with long-term support and to do so collaboratively as we join other investors and stakeholders in this entrepreneurial ecosystem. Thank you.
Our Council of Economic Advisors and our Bureau of Economic Development have enjoyed a close working relationship with Next Street, and Cherise Conanan Johnson is here on behalf of Next Street. Cherise?
Thank you, President Preckwinkle, and thank you to Thornton Distillery. I am both proud and excited for this moment that we have come together to do something greater than ourselves. I'm joined here with one of my colleagues, Katie Johnson, and we at Next Street are honored to serve as the program coordinator for the Cook County COVID-19 Recovery Small Business Assistance Program. We are a mission-oriented advisory firm revolutionizing how our clients get more capital, more services, and customers to small businesses. We believe strongly that small businesses are the key driver to inclusive economic growth, and we are a small business as well. This program work builds off of work earlier that brought together over 40 stakeholders over 2 years ago with an initial assessment of the state of play of resources and capital available in the ecosystem in Chicago and more broadly Cook County. That work culminated in a report entitled Assessing Chicago's Small Business Ecosystem, which led to efforts such as the Chicago Inclusive Growth Coalition and the Fund for Equitable Business Growth. A key takeaway from that report at that time was that the ecosystem needed more coordination, including with Cook County. And fast forward today, and that spirit of coordination and collaboration has taken root and shape. Across all of these strong, as President Preckwinkle mentioned, over 35 partners, we have set aside our own organizational priorities for the good of keeping small businesses at the center of our nation's economic engine. This isn't a moral obligation. It's an economic imperative. From the beginning of COVID-19, we all acted with the mantra of, we are stronger together. It's important to note that the program draws upon best practices and recent success of some of our efforts nationwide during this COVID-19 response and recovery period. Specifically, we launched a COVID-19 recovery fund in New York City in May and one in Columbus, Ohio in June. We've been able to take those lessons and learn from those efforts and tailor them to this Cook County effort and build upon momentum already here in order to bring necessary services and capital to small businesses, especially those underserved. Together with the leadership represented by all of our partners here today, we are afforded the opportunity to accelerate the work of our respective small business initiatives and set us all up for a long-term success. Thank you. Thank you, thank you to all of our partners here, particularly Cook County and their leadership with Sochi and Irene, and for acting boldly, acting swiftly, and most importantly, acting in the best interests of small businesses.
Thank you. We'd also like to thank the Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Jaime DiPaolo, who is their executive director. Is that right? Okay. Jaime, would you like to come and say a few words?
Thank you, Madam President. It's a pleasure to see you again, and especially in the South Suburbs. I didn't know this place existed. Thank you for hosting us at Thornton Brewery. So my job here is to speak to the audience in Spanish. So making sure all our Spanish Latino business owners have access to this wonderful program. And thanks to you, thanks to Next Street, thanks to the collaboration we've been having here. So es un gusto y placer poder estar aquí hablándoles en español a todos aquellos empresarios que de veras necesitan esa ayuda, sobre todo en los suburbios de Cook County. La Cámara de Comercio Hispana está aquí y está aquí para ayudar. Hemos construido un equipo fabuloso que les va a ayudar y les va a llevar de la mano para que de veras tengan acceso a ese capital y a esa asistencia técnica que de veras necesitan para poder tener éxito. Por favor, contáctenos, estamos aquí para ayudar. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much, Madam President. I promise you I did not say anything bad.
As I always say, my children speak Spanish fluently, but I am not a Spanish speaker. We're very grateful to have with us as well today Emilia Domenko from the Women's Business Development Corporation, WBDC, to speak about our partnership.
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, and we will get to the other side. I want to thank President Preckwinkle, the county commissioners and staff, the foundation leads, particularly Chicago Community Trust, and all of our sister organizations and partners. The economic recovery is going to be long and challenging, as we all know, and this initiative has focused on filling the continued unmet needs after 6 months of this pandemic. So the county and the foundations had a very thoughtful response. One, they wanted to fill the unmet grant needs that still existed for small business owners. And two, they looked ahead to figure out how they could sustain these businesses through the economic recovery. Our collective observations and experiences, talking to small business owners, all of us, every day, we found that the small business owners were unable to take on any more debt, and additional grant funds were needed to help them adjust to the business's current circumstances, particularly in suburban Cook, where businesses did not have access to City of Chicago grants, and they needed more than the state of Illinois grants could fund. More resources were also needed to provide guidance and support to all Cook County business owners to weather this economic crisis, to maintain their operations and employees, and to pivot their businesses to fit the current climate. Through the business education and one-on-one resources that this initiative will provide, this initiative will provide business owners with assistance to sustain their businesses by guiding them on how to manage and stay on top of their finances on a day-to-day basis during this very difficult time, by helping them renegotiate payment terms, by working with them in developing more contingency plans, and by guiding them to establish and expand their banking relationships, as well as other business tactical support. You can connect to these resources and apply for grant funding by going to www.cookcountysmallbusinessassistance.com, by reaching out to any of the organizations represented here today, or by reaching out to your neighborhood business service organizations. There, as President Preckwinkle said, there are 35 organizations involved in this initiative to help small businesses in Cook County access the resources that we discussed today. We are trying to help. We know we will get to the other side, and we have to continue to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Last but not least, our own Bureau Chief, Xochitl Flores, from the Bureau of Economic Development.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today. My name is Xochitl Flores, and I am the Bureau Chief of the Cook County Bureau of Economic Development. I want to start by really thanking President Preckwinkle for her leadership, her commitment to our communities. That's what drives us. It's not often enough that we have an individual that's pushing us to continue thinking broadly, thinking in ways that we can really utilize our resources to help those that are most impacted. So I appreciate that leadership and I appreciate the support. Since March, our Bureau has been working tirelessly to create programs to support small businesses remain operational and resilient. Like many of the speakers before me, I believe that small businesses are the lifeblood of our communities, each offering a unique story, as we heard from Andrew today, that starts with hope and thrives on dedication and hard work. On my drive this morning, I observed many storefronts, restaurants, coffee shops, dry cleaners, and these are the businesses that are core to our communities. These businesses support their communities and provide us valuable services and resources. They are now facing extreme circumstances that threaten their livelihood and the economic vibrancy of our communities. Just between February and April, the number of active U.S. business owners dropped by 22%, and businesses of color were hit the hardest. Black business owners dropped 41%, Latinx by 32%, Asian American by 26%. Despite these challenges, we are forging ahead and using an equity model to guide our work and address the gap in resources that are critically needed within our suburban communities. Recognizing that we can't do it alone. Government cannot do it alone. These unprecedented times require strong partnerships between government, the private sector, and philanthropy. So I want to thank, again, the Chicago Community Trust and all of our other partners for coming together to develop this robust model that is going to create a pathway to recovery for our small businesses. Today is an important milestone because it demonstrates the impact that these public and private partnerships are making. We are setting a new standard in economic development practice by bringing together this robust network of 35 partners from across Cook County in both the city and the suburbs to provide coordinated, strategic, and meaningful support to small businesses. Early in the pandemic, we were contacting many small businesses and we were hearing back from them because it's very confusing to have all these resources available and yet not know where those trusted resources are. The chambers, the business service organizations that we have as part of our network are those trusted voices that we need working hand in hand with us, working hand in hand with the businesses to ensure them that these are resources that are there to support them. The road to recovery is long, and today we celebrate the steps we are taking to restore hope in our communities and build their stride so we can come out stronger together. So I appreciate this partnership and look forward to the success of this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Soshi. All right, Nick, help me out here. All right, the question from Alice is the source of the money. I'm going to ask Soshi to.
That is correct. This is a coordination and partnership between the philanthropic community and CARE CRF funding, Community Recovery Funds funding.
Is there a breakdown of how much is from the CARES Act funding and how much is from the partnership?
So the question is the breakdown of the funding?
We can provide that. The grant funding that will be supporting our small businesses is all coming from CARES funding, and we can provide that additional breakdown. Our communications person can get that to you.
Okay, and then one more question. When will the businesses receive the money?
So the application is currently open and available, And our business service organizations will be reviewing the applications. And Sharice, do we know exactly when businesses can anticipate the money? By end of year, we will have all the funds allocated. Any additional questions? Okay.
Okay, Alice, did you have any more questions?
I have one more question, but we can go to the next reporter.
No, why don't we finish with you? Go ahead. Alice?
Oh, yeah, can Andrew Howell talk about just how much of a difference this grant up to $10,000 can make for small businesses?
All right, Andrew? All right, Andrew, the question is, how much difference can the grant funding make for a small business?
Sure. So for us right now, we're anticipating adjusting our outdoor seating to sort of extend the fall outdoor dining season. So that's a huge expense, and we don't really know how it's going to go. And then based on sort of the amount of money we can invest, how late into the season we can get. So any sort of resource like that is huge for us as we're trying to like invest the capital to build that stuff out. So.
All right, he's going to use it to expand his outdoor dining space, okay? All right, Alice, is that it?
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, Craig? Thank you for your patience, Craig.
Good morning, Madam President. Only one question, really, and that is, how many businesses do you expect to be helped by this, and then how long is this help going on?
All right, so the question is, how many businesses do we expect to be helped, and how long is the help going on? Sharice?
The second part of that question was how often?
And how long is the program in duration?
Sure. In terms of how many businesses we anticipate to help, given that $12.6 million of grant dollars is going directly to businesses at $10,000 a clip, we anticipate through the grants specifically 1,260 businesses, and then other businesses will be responsible for signing up just for the education and advice. And some of our estimates point to being able to help a couple of thousand other additional businesses. It's important to note that each business that receives a grant also is required to have the education and assistance, and so that also will help the impact. The application program will be open for several weeks after this launch, and we will monitor it to make sure that it has the right level of reach for businesses. And after our businesses, again, get matched with grants and get matched with the business service providers, they should be getting that one-on-one counseling over the next coming months. Mm-hmm.